Danielle Lynn here, and I'm here to explain what to expect when your loved one's been on hospice and they have passed. What do you do next? You call that 1-800 number. What are your responsibilities? Nothing but to grieve and be with your loved one. What happens when we get the call that your loved one has passed? We gather the information on the computer, the address, try and get to you as quickly as possible, call and give you an estimated time of arrival. And when the nurse gets there, they will listen for a heartbeat, and then sometimes we might do a little poem or something of remembrance if the family wants it. And then we'll typically do the death certificate in the home because I find them as important as birth certificates. You as a family want everything accurate. So even though I might know the information, I'll confirm with the family as I'm inputting the death certificate in the computer. People often ask, how do I get the death certificate? Will you give it to me? And I have to explain, I put it into the computer, an email goes to the attending, and they're told to sign it. You get the death certificates from the funeral home, okay? And I'm not sure, it might vary from state to state. I'm not even sure with where I am, but typically you get 10 free death certificates, and if you need any more, you can get them for a small fee, and it's usually not that much. So that's what happens when your loved one passes on. The goal is for you to be completely as stressless as possible so that you can grieve and be with your loved ones for the last little bit of time they're going to be in your home. So don't ever let a nurse or a healthcare worker tell you you have any responsibilities. Now, I will mention there are cases where the family prefers to call the funeral home, which then I allow them to do that. That's their option. But that's what happens after end of life and they've passed on. And it is probably one of the most difficult times. Onboarding when your loved one is admitted, overwhelming. You're on autopilot while you're caring for them. Then they get end-of-life symptoms, and then they pass. Another thing I want to mention to you so that you don't feel guilty. Many, if more times than not, loved ones pass in their sleep overnight if they're having a peaceful end of life. Lots of time what happens is the loved one will take a rest. They'll get up to check on the patient and find that they've passed. Do not feel guilty. You did nothing wrong. Take that as a blessing. That means they passed on in their sleep. Could anybody ask for anything better? So keep that in mind, and I hope that helps. Please hit like, share, and I hope you tune in and that I help as many people as possible. Thank you so much. God bless and peace out.